Alright, that should hopefully fix that. Alright, all of a sudden I was like, and now 20 gigs are free, and I hadn't moved anything yet. Computers are stupid. Anyways, back to the point. You guys are moving along, and you find your way to the council chambers with the guard. He leads and he knocks on a few doors and whispers a few words to different people, and they sort of usher you through. You find your way to a inner city wall where you are all your weapons are checked. So if you have any weapons, you don't have them anymore.
That's fine.
Do I still have my violin?
No, like anything at all that you sort of have that isn't like some, a few gold coins really, or your clothes will be taken off you.
Okay.
You then head through and you see sort of like a keep at the center of the castle, at the center of the courtyard. And there you go. And you go inside, and it's this expansive chamber. The entire interior is made of marble. It is very richly decorated, and there is a woman behind the counter at the far end who is like, hello? Like, sort of nervously to the guard. She's not used to seeing soldiers in here. You can sort of tell that from her immediately. And there's then three sort of like shoddy looking strangers walking in as well.
I make sure to like have like a bright smile when I walk in. I'm like, hi.
Hi. What are you here for? Can I help you?
My good woman, I have a letter of introduction from the mayor of a small coastal town. I believe I was given an introduction to the lords of this city, and these are I am Aethelfin Daywin, and these are my two companions, Nisa and Sout.
I smile at the fact that he called me his companion.
Okay. She takes the letter and she's like, oh, okay. And she turns to the guard and asks, is there anyone specifically who they're here to see? And he turns around like, I've been ordered to send them to the Lord of Commerce. I think we're to see if they have any use. She stands up, looks sort of a little bit shocked, a little bit awkward, and hurries around the corner. When she returns, roll a perception check.
That
18.
is a 21.
Okay. She looks a little bit scared. She's like, apparently so. She says, he said he will see you, but he's in a meeting at the moment, so I think it'll be a short meeting. And she sits down and just like starts going about her busy work. And the guard just says, I'll wait for you here.
Thank you.
She points down the corridor, and there's one arched door at the end of the hallway for you to go through.
Alright. I'm gonna turn to Sout and I'm gonna go in a like hashtag SRL. Try and contain yourself. This is a critical juncture in negotiations, and I will not tolerate insubordination. Do you understand?
You're not the leader here, but yeah, I'm gonna keep calm.
Okay.
Nisa?
I guess we're going forward. I start looking to look.
Don't go in. Wait.
I'm walking towards the
Yeah, I know.
Okay. The guards are like, these are not the type of men you keep waiting. Go on then.
No, of course.
I imagine you walk up and knock on the door.
Yes.
We were told he was in a meeting. Like, we would wait for him to come get us, but if we're expected to knock on the door, that's what we'd do.
He said that he will see you, but he is in a meeting. So, and she pointed you towards the door. So yes, okay. So if you walk up and knock on the door opens and you see your footsteps. Door opens, only enough to expose someone's head and chest. They their shoulders and arms are still behind the door, so they're just leaning out to talk to you. You can hear a few hushed voices inside. You can't catch what they're saying. In front of you stands a man in a fine robe with its edges in gold. On his fingers that you can see are thick gold bands, and around his neck is a chain with you can't see what the symbol is. It hangs inside the robe. He has he's about 5'10", relatively thin, but he has bright blue eyes that look to each of you with a desire. Hello, my name is Xavier. You are fine specimens. How can I help you?
Lord Xavier of the Commerce portfolio, I presume?
Surely we'll be friends. You can just call me Xavier.
Oh, I
My
appreciate
ears,
the
I perk up when I hear friends. I'm visibly happier.
Okay.
I appreciate the time that you are giving us, so I will keep it short. I am a representative of a high house from the Elven Empire. We have found ourselves shipwrecked on your shores, and I wish to discuss with you a hopefully mutually beneficial arrangement. I indeed hope that we can be friends.
Oh, Aleph. It has been millennia. Interesting. Well, I'm a little busy at the moment. What can I do for you now?
I and my companions here are advanced members of a, shall we call trade caravan that will be approaching your city within the next few days. We were hoping for quarters and food and water for them, as some of them have been injured in our arrival. In return, I was hoping we could also speak of mutually beneficial trade arrangements, imports, exports, that sort of thing.
Well, yes, matters of economy can be talked of a little later, but do you have if that is what you need, that is all just a matter of gold, and we can talk the finer points of trade. However, you seem to want something more. And he looks at your missing arm. And he sort of looks you dead in the eye, Sout.
I look a little freaked out. I'm like, Yeah. Can we look through your library if that's fine?
I don't really, keep my personal collection here. We store most our text in the colleges. They are the ones who preside over matters of arcanum, history, architecture. Unfortunately, you have to be a citizen to enter its grounds. If you do not have citizenship, you would either need a substantial amount of gold to buy the correct papers, or maybe a friend in high places.
Didn't you say that we're already friends?
Well,
Yeah, Eglifin just shoots him a look.
tell you what, I will give my seal to you to pass on to the secretary, and she will provide you the papers. But you must return here at sundown. I have a request or two for you, and I think that'll be useful. I think I could use some skilled help. Would that be agreeable?
We can certainly make that accommodation. I feel that is a good deal for the insight that a trip to your college will provide us. Thank you kindly.
He says, he just looks at you, just wait here a moment. And he walks inside. You hear him like moving about. He says something in a language you don't understand to one of the men inside and comes back. Now, just remember that if you do not return here after sundown, or you decide not to fulfill our agreement, I will have you executed. This understood?
I'm just staring off to the side,
Implicitly.
nodding.
Okay. And he hands
Yeah,
over.
crystal clear.
He holds out the seal in his hand. And who's reaching out to take it?
Me.
As you do, he sort of like lays his hand on top of yours and just strokes it gently, and like you feel that he's like feeling along your bone structure in your hand. And he grips your wrist tightly and reaches up and just like strokes your jawline. My, pretty things, aren't you?
I assume he's like trying to like hit on me, so I'm like, hey.
This could be a interesting arrangement. And he steps back and closes the door.
Let's go. Move.
He seemed nice.
He seemed
He
nice.
seemed like several patrons I've had.
So
Were they as hot as this one?
Let's not talk about this.
they go to the secretary, and she takes the seal. You just see her like dip it in wax, stamp a piece of paper, and just hands it to you. All right, off you go. Does not paying any attention to you.
I want to ask the secretary a question about.
Ask away.
I asked her, do you think that the guy is strictly dickly, or would he not be interested in I like do this?
That look of fear you saw before comes back. And she's sort of looking down. She's like, I think he'd be interested. And just sort of like, just keeps looking down at her work and she doesn't look up again.
I'm like, okay, now I get excited. Let's go. And I tap Aethelfin on the back. Like, come on.
He flinches and jumps like a full 5 foot in one direction away from you. Don't touch me. Don't
Okay.
touch me.
So, the guard turns to you. So, what is the plan now?
Well, we've been given access to your college, and specifically your library.
Okay. Well, follow me, and I'll take
Is in
you.
order.
He takes it and reads it because it's still in a script you don't understand. He's like, oh, this is this. Yep. You are to be given access to the head lecturer. Follow me. As he goes along, he pulls out the paper again and just sort of turns to you as you guys are walking there. Apparently you are, you have, this is a special permit that allows access to the college grounds as a ambassador of the of the councilman, so you can come and go as you please, but you are only meant to talk to this one person. It's a private meeting, sort of. That we have, the city is run on permits and you pay to get them. It's a very classist system.
Oh, it's pay for play. I understand.
Yes. You get to the college, and it's this large tower.
How long did it take?
It took you about 15-20 minutes to like navigate the city streets, and he didn't go down like
And
the
what time
main
of day?
road. It is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So you get to it, and the portcullis is pulled up because it's actually like a very. As you go through, you realize that this place is made to withstand a siege by itself. It's like they made a military structure and then converted it into a college. And as you go in, you see that, it has been made a lot more comfortable. You can see stacks and stacks of library books where they've sort of, it would be in what would have been the dungeons and prison cells have been converted into library behind lock and key. But he takes you to a amphitheater, and at the front is a man speaking a language you don't understand. He's very old, but he looks up and sees you, and while you can't understand what he's saying, you very much get that he's finishing a lecture, and he sort of like claps a couple times and then raises his hands, and you see all the students just stand up and leave. And after a couple minutes, he just beckons you down.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll approach. And while we do, I kind of I turn to Soot and I turn to Nisa and I go, so don't touch anything, don't speak unless spoken to. I think this is a highly protocol heavy society, and I frankly don't want to piss off the wrong person, especially when the man who gave us access could kill us if we don't meet his expectations.
I just nod and agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
He the guards leads you down and hands over the permit, and he's sort of like, hello. How can I help you?
Greetings, I am Aethelfin Daywin and this is my companion, like gesture to Soot.
Well met. And who is this young lady?
I was expecting Soot here to introduce himself, but apparently he didn't. So,
I just
and
kind of
this
like
is
looked at
Nisa.
the guy.
Well, hello. Aethelfin, Sout, and Nisa. How are you? Why? I am well. I am just a little perplexed as to why you are entering my college.
Well, we have dispensation from the Lord of Commerce here.
Yes, I understand that you have the permit, but you look like travelers who only recently got to the city, and, forgive me, but you're not human.
You'll
Yes.
forgive me.
So, what is going on? Why are you here? What do you...
Well, my companion here, Sout, seems to be interested in the arcane, whereas I'm more interested in the practical applications of artificery. And we were... And we were... Yes.
Okay,
And we
well...
were told that this is... I apologize.
No, it's fine. Well, I am the head lecturer of arcane matters, arcanum as we call it, and history is also something I teach. I'm not a master of it, but I have a wider knowledge than many of the lecturers here. If you're interested in architecture, we have some teachers that can help you. But if you wanted to talk about matters of artifice, you would need to go to one of the other colleges. We do not really specialize in it, though we do have a exchange program with the college, Dacia, where we help them with their magical needs, and they help us understand constructs.
I see. Well, this college of... I'm sorry, was it Rhodesia or Rhodesia?
Rhodesia. It's
Rhodesia.
our port city is the only safe route to the island, so they are effectively a vassal.
Ah, I see. Well, I personally am quite interested in this College of Rhodesia, and any sort of introductory letter that perhaps I could ask you to pen would be most appreciated. But I understand that there are political intricacies, so I will not push the point, but I would be most pleased if that were possible.
Well, perhaps, I'm curious as to why else you are here, though. You've come to the college for some reason, surely, not just to get a letter. What did you come
Well-
here looking to learn?
Well, forgive me, but you may see that I'm at somewhat of a disadvantage. I lost my arm quite recently to an incident involving some kind of snake creature that could turn people to stone. And as an artificer, I'm sure you can understand that I work primarily with my hands. So any healing or knowledge that could be imparted to me would be most welcome. I believe Sout here is looking at other matters, and Nisa has already expressed her interest in the histories of this place.
Well, I know that some of my students have been heading over to Rhodesia and are at the forefront of, it's mostly has battlefield applications at the moment, not really my sort of, but it's a artificed limb to replace one that you've lost, powered by magic.
I see. That's very interesting. I'd be most interested to see the workings of this.
Well, young Sout. But firstly, you don't look well, boy. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Looking really confused as to like why he thinks I'm looking unwell.
Well, your eyes and skin, teeth, and despite the fact that you're trying to hide it with a hat, your ears, everything about you is somewhat unhealthy. And I'm not a fool, boy. If you are here interested in magic and have some sort of affliction, it would seem that it is of a magical nature. Now, was it something done to you, or is this a problem that you caused yourself?
I would say that maybe it's a little bit of both. It was a mistake from my part, and something was done to me. But I'm here to figure out what it is, and maybe if I can deal with it.
Well, we'll get a lot further.
And when I say something done to me, I look at Nissa and like kind of in a like please understand kind of face.
Okay.
Ethelfin just heard the part that I chose that, but I chose this, and it's just like Star Elves.
The lecturer's like, this will be a lot easier and less a waste of my time if you would perhaps ask what you need or give me some information, because right now I have a letter of introduction here in this permit for the Lord of Commerce to talk to myself, the head lecturer of a college, which is why you're here, but I, not to be rude, but have no real incentive to do any more than that. So maybe we should start a bit of a discussion instead of just, fucking around.
Understood. But
I get closer to the guy and I ask him. Sorry. I get closer to the guy and I ask him, "Do you know anything about the void in the sky?" Like in a hushed tone.
As we understand it, and as our texts have said, the void isn't really in the sky. It is more a manifestation of our own psyche that allows us to not break at its presence. The void is the space between all known dimensions and planes. Does that help you at all? What?
can handle the Eldritch knowledge.
My computer, my Discord just restarted. Please hold.
I'm back. I got disconnected. What happened?
Yeah, my Discord just restarted as well. Hopefully I didn't lose anything else then. I was very shocked. Okay.
I was just saying, he couldn't handle the Eldritch knowledge, so.
What did you miss, Chad?
He said, so the thing about the void, and then I missed everything.
In short, he said that it's not in the sky. It's that's how your psyche allows you to understand it without breaking your mind. The void is the place between all known dimensions and planes.
What about the magic that's there?
Well, the void is ravenous. It when the walls between realities are broken, the void it absorbs what it can. So it is a chaotic space filled with rampant magics, usually of hunger and darkness, because that is what it is. It's not sentient, but it feels that way to those who have touched it. If given the chance, the void will take anything it can, from physical matter to magic to souls. Even gods would not enter the void willingly.
I think at this point,
I have like a fake look of like, oh my god, I'm shocked. Like I don't know what happened. Like
We throw glances at each other like, oh shit, and then look at Sout.
I would like to be like visibly like shocked, even though I know that like I'm eating people's souls. But like I want to be like visibly like, oh my goodness.
Judging from your friend's reactions, you have touched the void somewhat, and he takes a step back from you. Now,
And this is what I'm trying to fix.
are you a
Guys,
spellcaster?
to step back. I'm totally taking 2 steps.
I am a spellcaster, yes.
Okay, and have you had any formal training?
With some spells, yes. But nothing too extensive.
Okay, well, before the ways were closed, the other human realms of the wider world had started to codify magic somewhat. And there were different levels of spells and schools of magic, and it was I could go into some detail, but I don't want to bore your friends. So do you know what schools of magic you were trained in? That would help me understand a little bit, like where did you gain your power?
I was just trained by a bard who knew magic, and that's just how I know whatever I can. And I kind of fumble onto it and I practice with it.
Well, magic is not really something you fumble upon, so you say you're a bard. Like, let me quickly explain that there are several types of arcane casters. There are warlocks who make pacts with entities of power to gain magic. There are wizards who usually try to gain power through learning, and they use their mind to shape magics. There are sorcerers born to magic who have power within them. And lastly, there are bards. And bards are perhaps the most dangerous and least understood, because really, there's a few schools of thought as to how they work. One is that they just will things to happen and shape reality with their music, which is frankly terrifying. And the other is that they are the voices of the universe, and that because they are writing songs of heroes, the songs they sing must come to pass. The stories they tell must happen, and that is why they're usually found adventuring. Both of these are very worrying to me, because it seems that we are not in control of our fates. How did you... At some point, you must have cast a spell and felt a pull from somewhere other than our world, our physical plane. Can you tell me anything about that?
Well, it depends on the kind of magic that I cast. When I cast like a healing spell or something along the lines of that, I get pulled into this forest, and there's always this giant antlered beast there. I accidentally tried to give him another arm, which he refused, pointing at Eaglefin.
He's drawing from the bloody Fae.
Oh. Okay. Well,
Understand my reluctance to allow him to turn my arm into something of Fae magic, surely.
yes, well, the Feywilds is a fickle place. We have not had any contact with it in thousands of years, but our texts do tell of strange creatures and powerful creatures which live there. The issue is, and this is where we start getting deeper into magical theorem, that within each of us is a soul, and that soul is anchored by our our world's connection to the other planes. To cast spells, you must open your soul gate to, which is the connection to one of those other planes, to then cast a spell. So, if you wanted to, say, cast a spell of Fireball, you would have to forge a connection to the plane of fire. If your soul is connected to the plane of fire, any connection to the plane of water is very, very harmful to you. In fact, it's quite a strenuous process opening up your soul to somewhere else. And the more you do it, the more you sort of stretch yourself. So, if you have a connection to the Fae, gods tell me you have not have also a connection to the Void.
I might.
Well, 99% of the time, a connection to a plane opposite of the one that you already have a connection to is a recipe for catastrophic death. As your body cannot contain two opposing forces, you have to find a way to close off one of those sources of power.
And how do I do that?
I don't know, as nearly everyone who has made those connections has died. Most mages are trained to fight back against that sort of connection, to deny it and make sure it's closed, so that you can safely harness the power within you.
Oh boy. Well, that's why we're here to read, because I don't want to die.
Well,
Yes.
this is sort of my specialty, so if you have any questions, please ask. No.
Well, how do I just focus on harnessing from one specific thing and resisting another?
Well, so
And trying to make it seem like I'm trying to resist the void, but really I want to resist the Fae.
yeah, okay. I mean, that would be common sense to most people, to resist the void. So that's how he's taking that. To harness from one, you need to, okay, so, you need to cast spells of that school of magic. The more you connect to that plane, the more your connection is strengthened. Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense, yes.
So, using water and fire, as they are the simplest, and two of the more common planes to connect to, the more you connect to plane of fire, you cast fire spells. You will damage your connection if you cast something of an opposite alignment. Now, I could
So do you happen to know what kind of spells the void does, so I can avoid using them?
that
You
is
can avoid the
actually
void.
that is not well catalogued in our libraries. Not like some of the more common planes. In fact, even the Feywild is not very well known here, as it is not something that humans generally trifle with.
It's not something that elves generally trifle with either.
That is incorrect, actually. Elves are
I
born
didn't
of
say we didn't trifle with it, but
elves are born of the Fae. They are Fae creatures, so they all have some natural connection to it. Just some can harness it and some cannot. I imagine you are one that cannot.
He doesn't answer. He just looks annoyed.
And I say that's the only thing he can. That's not the only thing he can't do.
Oh. Well, maybe, young Aethelfin, I can send you to our libraries, to research more on constructs, though it is very limited. If you see, I am happy to help you gain access to the College of Rhodesia, which is not one of the primary colleges, it's not one of the triumvirate, but it is still a highly regarded college because of its specialty. If you are willing to do something for me, I will make sure you have passage to the Isle where you can learn under the masters there.
Well, this sounds like a natural accommodation, provided, of course, it doesn't run contrary to our prior arrangement with the Lord of Commerce here.
Oh, very well, that'll be fine. You said you're an artificer. What is your specialty?
Well, earlier in my life I was a bladesmith and an armorsmith, but I have now begun to dabble in the creation of simulacrum and we've lost the child. Simulacrum and well, I suppose the technical term would be golems.
Well, is it golem or is it construct? They are very different.
I was using terms perhaps. You're correct. It is not. I am researching golems for the purposes of better creating a construct that replicates the physical prowess, presence, and mind of an Avarial. I actually have an Avarial construct with me, however, it was damaged recently. It will be joining us shortly.
Well, how about this then? I think I have a very arrangement, since I am not long for this world and have passed on all my knowledge. I think the passage of knowledge is the possibly the highest achievement one can have in their life. So if you could have, if I could organize for your construct to be brought here, it would be safe within our walls. I would give you an honorary permanent permit for our college. You can come and go as you please and use our library as you see fit. However, we would like to at least look over with you, of course, your construct, and we would also like you to start writing at least a small part of your knowledge about golems, constructs, and simulacrum, because that is not quite how we have ever tried to make these things. We have made sentinels to guard towers and cities, and we at the moment are looking at replacement limbs which would connect to your nervous system.
This sounds intriguing and sounds like a very, very good use of my time. I am more than happy to do so. However, it would also be required that I could, from time to time, take sabbatical from the college so I can assist with a contract I have previously arranged, which requires my movement with these two fine people.
Yes, that'll be fine. If I could fetch one of the college guards to take you to a private room, and he could fetch any text you'd like. However, we also would need you to start your own transcription of your knowledge.
Yes, this sounds amenable. I am required to return to the Lord of Commerce's chambers by sundown, or else I am told my life might be forfeit. but I can begin immediately once that's been resolved.
I will be able to persuade him against your demise, if that is agreeable to you.
I am quite attached to my body, so yes.
Well, not all of it, unfortunately, but we will make sure that is remedied for you.
Yes, this sounds pleasing. He looks far more relaxed than he is in the last couple of weeks.
Now, would you like to go to a reading room that is unwarded, or one that is contained, where no magic can pass in or out of it?
In my experience, contained is also always the smartest way to approach things, especially when you're dealing with stuff you don't yet understand.
Very well.
But if you can arrange for, I don't know, some kind of document to travel with Sout and Nisa here when they return to the Lord of Commerce, that would be agreeable, and I can begin immediately.
Okay then, and he raises his hand, and a guard comes over. He's like, "I can take you where you need to go, sir."
Thank you.
And he
And I leave.
Yep. Caston, I know you do have to go. Can you do me a favor and not actually like turn your computer off, because it'll mess up where everyone is in the thing.
Cool. I will just turn off my camera.
Yep. Say your goodbyes now. Oh, is he come back?
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Castellan is led away. And he turns back to you. Sorry, I know that was, quite a... We left you out there somewhat. Young lady, is there anything I can do for you? We've talked a lot to your male companions. And sorry, and he holds a hand forward. My name is Iris. How are you?
My name's Nisa. I gotta shake his hand. I'm good, thank you.
Sorry, I'm so used to talking at students. It's different when, I guess you would almost, you three would be considered equals, with your permissions and knowing the councilman. What can we do for you?
I was just wondering if you had anything, like books or anything that I can read, or know anything about the history of this island.
Island? This is a continent.
This place that you're from, continent.
Small one.
This
Yes.
area.
I could fetch some text for you, but if there's anything you need to know about, if there's any questions, I'm sure I can answer them.
Have you ever seen a shield or shields with a circle and a 5-point star in the middle? I heard that it had something to do with the original tribes and stuff that lived here.
Yes, so if it's a 5-pointed star in a circle, that is the symbol of unification. The tribes that made up this city once had to fight against, well, demons. We were swarmed during a war thousands of years ago, and we were brought here by our gods to this place, and we were given protection. The primordial titans that ruled this world did not like that we had been brought here by our gods, so they rose up and there was a cataclysmic war, which in the end the titans were subdued and the gods also removed themselves from this plane, and we were left here as the stewards of the land, and we have been here ever since. The different tribes ended up forming different cities that are spread throughout this continent. There, eventually, we found out that we weren't the only people here. There are some from the far side of the continent who are our most cunning rivals in trade part, and now it's just Nissa. And there have been skirmishes in the past, but in times of war, we have come together to fight greater enemies. As far as we know, we are the 7 cities here, and the few cities beyond the mountain range. Not the crown of Okeanos, but the mountain range, the ridge that runs the center of our continent. The peoples there have joined with us to fight off invaders in the past.
What kind of titans live here?
Lived here. They have been
Lived, sorry.
gone. Well, so, wow. This is not a small explanation.
Even if you could just like sort of like what they were, like a brief summary, like just what kind they were would be fine, or even a couple of names if you know them.
They are the physical manifestations of plain elementals. There's ocean titans, earth titans, fire titans, air titans, usually in small family groups ruling vast areas of land. Young Sout, no one can hear you. Nope, I don't know. Maybe you've cast a spell on yourself again, and it's just fucking with you.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I want to interject and I want to ask because that thing that we saw on the ground, we saw this giant creature living under the mountains. It was kind of terrifying, and it had like a weird laugh about it. Are those maybe the titans?
Surely you mean a giant of some sort, not an actual titan.
It was huge. The size, it looked like a golem with the size, like its head was the entire floor.
Floor of what, young man?
Of like the mountains, like it was massive.
There
It
was
wasn't
what he's saying is there was a hole in the mountains, and we ventured into the hole, and it was filled with people made of stone.
I have.
Inside, it was similar to that, but like just massive. Like, then I kind of opened my arms, like huge.
I have never heard of what you're describing. It certainly sounds like one of the titans. However, surely that is not what you saw. That would be ridiculous.
I told him, do you have a map? I can point you to the location, and you can have some people sent there to check, because if it's about that, then like if it's actually the Titans, we really like people need to really figure out how to deal with the problem in case, because it seemed like there was an opening for it.
Well, yes, okay. I can take you to some chambers that'll have a map. But the Titans, they shouldn't be able to exist any longer since the pathways between planes has been cut off. That doesn't make any sense. Someone would have to be.
It wasn't the Titans, it was probably something else, I'm sure. Like, I don't know.
But what if it is?
Well, if it is, and the gods don't return, we're all doomed. So,
And that's why I think we need to figure out a way to prevent that.
prevent everything's prevent the apocalypse. Yes.
Prevent from doom. Yes. Prevent the apocalypse. Yes.
Apocalypse. Yes.
Apocalypse.
Perhaps. What do you know of gods?
I don't know much about them.
I believe they are the ones that give us power. They are the ones that you look up to and worship.
Well, that is correct in part, yes. I'll tell you what. You can come to one of my lectures at a later date. Right now, I can get you some books. You can show me where this thing was on the map, and I will walk you myself to the Councilman's chambers as it will be getting on. And on the way, I'll describe to you a few things we know about gods and souls, and that might be able to help you with your problems and maybe give you some idea of what you want to do about it. But if you intend to stay in the city, young Sout, please let me know so I can leave it.
What?
Well, if you can't get control of the warring forces within yourself, I don't want to be near when end.
What happens if I end, which will not happen?
Well, like I said, there's never been written in any books about it, because every time someone has lost that fight within themselves, they have died and taken everyone with them that could have viewed it. There were once 9 cities.
What happened to the other two?
Oops.
Well, one, we found the charbroiled remains of some 14,000 people in one city, and the other one just wasn't there.
Well, in the meantime, I know that there are some Fey magics that are 100% for sure Fey, so I'll be sure if I ever cast magic, while at the very least in the city, only to cast that.
Very well, that would be wise. Better yet, don't cast any magic, and you won't be feeding anything from anywhere and possibly causing problems. Can construct what's called a cold space. If we can get enough mages in an area, we can draw all magic from usually we make a spherical construct, and we draw magic out of it, and you can inside it, and anything you do in there will have no negative effects on the outside. It is somewhat taxing on their stamina to keep that going, but it allows you to explore your magical self without causing untold destruction.
Honestly, I would rather be able to protect myself and everyone around me, because without actually doing any kind of magic and causing a lot of trouble for everyone, and I kind of like flex my arm and show that it's kind of just like a noodle. Other than my magic, there's nothing. So that's why she carries everything, because I will literally break.
Okay. Well, and as he's been like guiding you along, he's taking you to a room, and there's a map on the wall, so you can I will actually get a map of this entire island up for next week, so you can actually see it, this entire area. You can see it where all the cities are and that sort of stuff, and you better point it out a bit better. But if you can show him roughly where you think you guys landed.
I pointed at him where we landed, and then I kind of like say, we walked here, and then we went to these mountains over here, and inside this cavern, inside this ravine, is where we saw it.
Oh, and you said you were attacked by a snake creature near there. Or at least your...
Not me. The armless dude.
Oh, we have been told that there are several Medusa living in that area, so most likely that is the creature you found, or he found. They are a hybrid of snake and human, which can usually turn people to stone. I would recommend avoiding them, as they can swim through the earth much like we can through water, which means that they are very adept at ambush attacks.
And I point at the cave that we landed on, like that's where I believe they were.
Okay, I will, if the rest of your people are coming this way, I will alert the town guard that that is where you think these creatures are, and if the captain sees fit, he might go and investigate the area.
Anything I can do to help.
Okay. Well, let's head back to the councilman's chambers.
Do you have any books we can read, like during the night, maybe?
I can have some. I will get some of the librarians here to find books for you, and they'll be waiting when you finish your meeting with the councilman.
Okay, wonderful. Can you focus on things that are in the void so I can just not use them, please?
Well, as I did say, do not have much writings on the void. There are writings of magic in general that have references to the void, but it's really not something that gets found out too often.
Oh, also... Okay. I want to ask him, just one more thing. Do you know what fulgurite is?
Fulgurite is when a lightning bolt has hit a mineral or crystal vein and it becomes a solid shard. It's lightning captured within quartz usually. However, sometimes lightning does strike things, react in certain ways, and it retains some sort of charge. I believe that there are several people throughout the western side of this country who have fulgurite weapons.
Our main mission here is to find some fulgurite. Would it be possible for us to be able to get some?
Well, fulgurite could be found anywhere. I don't know why you would come here to find fulgurite. It's anywhere where lightning has struck the ground. There is a chance of finding some.
Okay, so we just have to essentially keep our eyes out for fulgurite everywhere we go.
Well, it is rare that it strikes in the correct place, but are you looking... Is there something special about the fulgurite you are searching for?
Is there, and I look at Nisa and it's like, is there anything special with the fulgurite that we're looking for?
I'm not too sure. All I know is that we're supposed to be looking for fulgurite. I don't know what it is.
Let's ask, and I say, let's ask the floaty guy, and I point it to your ring.
We shall do this when it's a little bit more private.
Yes, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll ask. We'll have all the information.
We'll go see the councilman, and then we head back to our sleeping place. I'll use the ring to contact spirits of you.
Okay. while we're on our way to the councilman, I want to talk to Nissa, like kind of in a hushed voice, if that's fine.
He is going to give you a bit of a lesson on gods and souls, if you wish to hear it. Otherwise, he will just ramble ahead of you. It is completely up to you.
I'd listen to the gods and souls.
Do you? He's got. Usually, in our first year of Arcanum studies, we learn of the different types of gods and where souls originate. There are several theories, but the most prominent one is that souls originate in the plane of life or light and travel to its destination, and the anchor between a body and its soul is a small piece of the plane of death. So life and death, you see, are symbiotic. But souls are here to power gods, and gods are there to power mortals and their magic and all life around us. But a while ago, some 4 or 5,000 years, the gods retreated. In the wider world, ours had disappeared somewhat earlier. There are... okay. Trying to give this to you in the short, because we will be at the councilman's chambers soon. In the beginning, there was just one being, and it shattered. We don't know how or why, but it split, and its shards tumbled across the cosmos, and wherever they came to rest, eventually that shard formed its own consciousness. When these shards met, they began to reproduce and make gods, who then shaped the worlds and the planes and around us. The true gods are these shards. Anything under those are manifestations, small entities that are somewhat less than their parents, but mix their personalities in different degrees and measures. So the only real gods we still have are that of the sun, the moon, and they can never go away as they're part of our physical existence.
What about the stars?
Well, I'm not sure. The stars are generally considered within the domain of the moon and the night, because each god has its own domain, you see. So the god of the sun god will have the domains of light and usually healing and life, and they will keep guard over their domains jealously.
Alright, wonderful.
So the gods made the Feywild as the first world. They made it separate from the planes, and life sprung up there by itself. The life there has no souls as we know it. They aren't. The life there is almost like a physical soul, and because of its lack of connection to other planes and that these creatures are born of the plane, they have the ability to shape it to their will.
But since the Fae was created first and the Void was opposite of the Fae, do you think the Void was made as a mirror to the Fae, like as a resistant, or?
Well, it's more like when there is no light, it's nothing. It's dark. That is the void. And when this first world was created, it became that light, that something. And the gods realized that this first world was a mistake, as they getting no worship, they were getting no power fed from the creations there. It's when they made this world, anchoring it in place with its connection to other planes. And now I think you can see that it is a little bit cyclical, connection with our world and our soul's connection to magic and our god's connection to us. It all feeds into each other. So when one piece disappears, everything else soon follows.
Alright then. So the void is the absence of healing.
Yes.
That sounds terrifying.
With this, he gets you to the councilman chambers doors, and
I try to like make myself look.
Hmm?
Do we have the note that we're supposed to give him?
yeah.
Explaining about Castellan for
Yeah. He sort of sits there. The lecturer, Aris, is like, I am sorry for prattling on. I'm old and teacher. It's sort of it's hand in hand. Hopefully, I didn't bore you too much. If you have anything else you do wish to know, just come ask. And he sort of turns to Nissa as she yawns and wipes her eyes and is like, sorry, dear.
I tell him, you're never a bore. I'm really enjoying this. Thank you.
It's been a long day.
I can't tell if Sout was being serious. Then he's like, yes, learning is fun, teacher man. Thank you.
No, I'm serious because I like learning about knowing new things about magic. I really do enjoy knowing new things about magic. And in my head, it's like I love learning things that's gonna make me stronger.
Of course you are. Okay, so you're at the council chambers, and the door is left open. There's 2 guards out there for you, so you can go straight in. But inside it's now dark, and there's no secretary
I
behind
wanna
them.
like.
Yep.
I wanna like open up like this to like expose my chest a little bit, right? And like try to look like play with my hair to kind of make it look like nice.
Wearing a hat.
Well, he knows I'm an elf.
He
We're
does.
in a dark place, so I just take off my hat. I'm like, gotta look sexy, gotta look sexy.
As he's doing this, I'm looking at him and I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah, I would be too. Alright. Do you want to take like a 5-minute break here? It's 7:15. We've been going for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Okay. I just realized my music has stopped. It's been stopped for like a while, so that's a shame. Guys, if you have any questions, like I know that this was like this episode. Eventually, you get to episodes where it's always like an exposition dump, and that's why I sort of set this one up to be anything they need to ask, they can ask now, and that's why they have like a college professor with them. But if you guys have any questions, ask, and we will try to fill you in. Can I buy the nat ones or nah? We will allow that for the last half of this, I think, because it was meant to be another encounter that had Castle there. So to buy, this is a thing that we're gonna do mostly at arc ends, right? At the end of like 3 or 4 weeks, when you sort of finish a small story arc, I will open up the thing as a command, which will be nat 20 or nat 1, exclamation nat 20, exclamation nat 1, and it costs you 1,000. Sorry, advantage or disadvantage is 1,000 points. To buy nat 20s and nat 1s is 2,500 points.
Wait, what's this for?
To fuck with your guys' campaign.
I know
This is
it's.
bullshit. Kidding.
Do you know how hard it is for people to get those things? Like if I go to the currency list right here, it's Shire at 17,000, Harrow at 13,000.
I don't you fucking do a thing.
And I've said that people playing the game can't actually take part in the buying of things. Micmac has 3,178, and the thing is, you can only request it before it gets the time to be rolled, right? So he can't be like, oh, he's about to like cast a spell. Now I want it. It has to be like, you know, I want the next thing he does to be advantage and disadvantage. It gives you guys like it's just so that it's not like, you know, oh, we're gonna go meet the king. He's got a few minutes to like, okay, I want to do it then. It can't be like, hi king, my name's Sout. I love you, rolls diplomacy check. It can't be like that he can't be like, as you start talking to him, be like, and done. Because that event's already started. It's a pre-planned thing. I buy 3 disadvantages for Chad and his next charisma rolls. I'll get the command set up in a minute. But yes, alright, we'll take a short break. So if you have any questions, ask them. Be right back, guys.